As a new player in any game, you depend on the community to help you out. Some games are better than others with that. But I wanted to test what I already saw from Warframe and see if the community was really what everybody says it is. Over the years, I've kept an eye on the developer streams and the community streams. I've always been really impressed with how Digital Extremes handles their players and what they do. I'm coming at this from the side of someone who has a day job in marketing where I specialize in communications and content creation. I see a lot more in how they're communicating with us, the customers, or the player base in this case, on a level that goes way beyond just me being a player. It's something, honestly, guys. In fact, when I've worked with companies on effective communications, I have sometimes looked back at Digital Extremes to grab some inspiration. I could go way more in depth on that, but I'll spare you guys. It is clear that Digital Extremes is truly interested in their player base and interested in listening to us. I say us because, well, I guess I'm part of that player base now. A lot of times when community development is involved, what the company feels about their customer base or player base trickles down. We've seen that a lot of times in gaming. Blizzard Entertainment is probably one of the best examples of that. This is a company who has made their player base feel unheard and unwelcomed, and it's trickled down, helping to create the toxicity in the player base itself. No, Blizzard isn't fully responsible. Individuals do make their own choices, but Blizzard has had a hand in the reputation that their player base has. Final Fantasy XIV is a good example of a team, and I say team because I don't believe this attitude carries over into Squeenix itself. Anyway, they are a team who really cares about their players and the game. The community is an example of that attitude. Anyway, I'm back into work speak. Sorry about that. All I'm saying is that the overall attitude of the Warframe developers should trickle down into the player base, helping to create the reputation all of you have. Now we're going to find out if your rep actually rings true. So the first example is my first Warframe video. I just said, hey, I'm new. And look at these comments. It is insane. You guys are nuts in a really good way. So many people were excited to hear from a new player. They were giving me advice, offering help, going more in depth into gameplay. Several of you told me exactly what quest to look for so I could get my dog. Thank you for that. I will be keeping an eye out for it. And I really had to wonder, okay, so is this going to carry over into the game itself? Until recently, I hadn't done any solo play. I'd only played with 3 friends who also enjoy the game. I decided to jump into Warframe on my own and just start going. If I needed any help or had any questions, it was going to be up to the community at large to help me out. So I started by going into the Q&A chat on Fortuna and told everybody that I was new. For a minute, my message got lost in the spam and I was like, well, okay. But then all of a sudden, a lovely person jumped in to grab me. Yes, I'm naming them. I'm not even hiding their name because they were really helpful and should be appreciated. After that, I was invited to someone's clan dojo. They handed me blueprints for a Warframe. Now, I do have to farm the materials, but they actually offered to taxi me where I needed to go if I wanted to farm the mats. Wow, you guys were not kidding when you said the community was super helpful to new players. I am surprised. There were and are some downsides to this. Yes, I have to give some constructive feedback. And please understand, I'm not insulting the community here. In fact, I think a lot of what I'm about to say comes from the sheer excitement of helping new players. And I have actually been guilty of the same thing in other games. I've definitely done it to people in Final Fantasy XIV, which is probably why I caught it. There have been times in the last couple of weeks where I've felt really overwhelmed. Everybody jumped on me with advice, told me where to go, what to do, what to farm, etc. There is so much to do in Warframe, and I know you all want to help new players do all the things, but it's just that. It's all the things at once, and that's way too much. It's very overwhelming to deal with. So I guess my advice would be to remember when you were new, Warframe is an awfully big elephant, and you just need to take it one bite at a time. The other issue is doing missions as a solo player. I did a couple and I told the team that I was new. One team didn't respond, but the other one did. Both times I was woefully behind in the mission and had no clue what to do or what was going on. The team sped ahead of me, not giving me any time to think or even finish what I needed or figure out what I needed to be doing. One mission was a complete and total failure for me because the team went so far ahead and I got so lost that they were extracted before me and just kind of left me there. I had to abort and restart. So that was a little disappointing, especially because they were like, oh, no, don't worry, we'll help you, just follow us. But I couldn't keep up. I have not figured out how to be Speedy McSpeedyson yet. I'm still enjoying the heck out of learning to parkour off of things with a bullet jump and slide and doing the crazy slam attacks. Some of you go nuts in a mission, especially if you're playing Goss. He's really fast, yeah. Please give us new players some time. We may not want to be carried, and we may want to be carried. Sure, if a friend or somebody asks you to carry them and you're willing to, have a great time to do it. I will admit that my friend carried me through a couple of side missions just to make sure I got planetary completion. I mean, by all means, get excited. I, for one, really enjoy that people are getting so excited over new players. Just when you get excited, try to keep in mind what life, quote unquote, is like for a new Warframe player. There's a lot for us to learn, and we have to go a lot slower than those of you who've been here, have the muscle memory, know the game and the mechanics. With that said, one still has to ask, is the Warframe community as good as people say it is? Yeah, it is. Sure, you've got jerks, that's kind of the law of averages. Pull enough people in a room or a digital space and you're going to find the jerk. However, the overall community far outweighs those folks. I am loving the outpouring of encouragement and help. By the way, my in-game name is listed in the description of this video and also on my About page. I know several of you have asked for that in the previous video. And I don't mind giving it out because so far this has been a really welcoming, friendly, and helpful group of people. So if you're a fellow newbie to Warframe, I'd say jump on in. The water is fine. Just don't, jump into a coolant canal on Venus because I have heard that is terrible for the skin. Can't be good for you.